epiretinal membrane is a fibrocellular tissue, semi-translucent, that proliferates on the surface of internal limiting membrane and causes blurred vision with metamorphopsia and micropsia. Optical coherence tomography has become increasingly helpful in the diagnosis of epiretinal membrane. We present a variety of cases where membrane was removed. In the first case, the optical coherence tomography shows a hyperreflective membrane over the internal limiting membrane, which got removed spontaneously after the lesion of Leber's miliary aneurysm was lasered with cryo application. In a case of idiopathic epiretinal membrane, surgery is initiated with core vitrectomy followed by triamcinolone-assisted PVD induction. Membrane is peeled with the help of a forceps. An internal limiting membrane is stained with brilliant blue dye followed by its peeling. Fluid air exchange is carried out and the cannulae are removed. For this case, the patient presented to us with a history of prophylactic laser carried out to seal the breaks, which had led to membrane formation. The surgery was started with triamcinolone and brilliant blue dye staining. Epiretinal membrane was peeled. Followed by internal limiting membrane peeling. Fluid air exchange was done at the end of the surgery. The 1 month post-operative optical coherence tomography showed a completely removed membrane, leading to a normal foveal contour. In the fourth case, the wide field color photo showing a toxoplasma scar along the superotemporal arcade and the optical coherence tomography demonstrating an altered foveal contour. The surgery was started with core vitrectomy and triamcinolone staining. Followed by epiretinal membrane peeling, which extended to cover the membrane over the hypopigmented lesion of toxoplasmosis. Brilliant blue dye staining was followed by internal limiting membrane peeling and fluid air exchange. The peripheral retina was screened with closure of the case. The 1 month post-operative best corrected visual acuity was documented to be 6/6. This case had membrane in a case of a myopic silicone oil filled eye. 25 gauge cannula insertion was followed by silicone oil removal. Epiretinal membrane was peeled and thick membranes were segmented with cutter followed by case closure after fluid air exchange. In the sixth case, 25 gauge cannula were inserted and silicone oil was removed. The membranes were loosened with the help of forceps followed by segmentation of the thick membranes with the cutter. Epiretinal membrane was peeled. Followed by cannula removal and suturing after fluid air exchange. This case was initiated with insertion of 25 gauge cannula membrane was removed under silicone oil. silicone oil was used to stabilize the underlying retina. In the 8th case, we used PFCL as a third hand to stabilize the retina under silicone oil. Epiretinal membrane was removed under PFCL and silicone oil. In this case, the case began with injection of PFCL, which was used to stabilize the underlying retina, followed by epiretinal membrane peeling under PFCL. PFCL air exchange was carried out at the end of the surgery. Every case of epiretinal membrane comes with a different challenge with factors like duration of membrane, cause of membrane formation, and degree of traction affecting the visual outcomes. The right approach to a case of epiretinal membrane has a good success rate, with most patients experiencing an improved visual acuity.